You are watching the grand finale of my Plants vs Zombies 2 Potatoes Only series. Last time we took a dive in the Big Wave Beach, got absolutely railed by octopi and fishermen, but it overall had very good strategic level design for my challenge, and may have been the best world thus far. But now, we reach modern day, and it's low-key kinda mid. I love the idea of introducing all zombies from previous worlds into one mashup, but it feels like they executed it poorly with the lack of world gimmicks and synchronization with the zombies, but I think someone else made a video complaining about it, so anyway, let's get this show on the road. Alright, day 1, usual introduction. Nothing special besides the portals, which I completely forgot about, and you best believe they will summon the most diabolical undead beings to murder my entire bloodline. Well, not really. Portals are only present in 9 levels, which is kinda crazy to think about. Day 2 was fine as well, just more ancient Egypt stuff appearing. I can't believe I used to call these guys camel toe zombies. That shit was not funny. I swear the person I was 1 year ago is not the same person as I am now. Day 3 is our first conveyor belt level. Both attackers we are using are plants that most people would call underrated. And yeah, they're not too bad. What I find interesting is that I don't think the pianist zombie actually does anything outside the Wild West. You can see them playing, but none of the zombies are dancing. Day 4 is really weird. Every single imp known to man was present here, and some of them were full bitching it behind the glitter zombies, which posed as a threat because glitter zombies are a good counter to AoE, so I have to kill it before anything that's under the glitter effect. But I mean, I survived Neon Mixtape Tour where they were everywhere, so I've got experience in dealing with these assholes. Day 5 was so desert, bro, and by desert I mean boring as shit. It was just more imps, and Mr. Unlikable the breakdancer zombie. Yeah, can you see why I don't like modern day that much? It just feels like they randomly generated every zombie to be in certain levels, and then we ended it off with a Gargantua, which is a recurring theme you will see a lot here. I found day 6 to be very interesting. Normally on produced sun levels I would allow sunflowers to be used, but because gold tiles are present there is no reason to have sun plants. But can I really get 4000 sun in such a short level? Well, yes, but it's not easy. I can breeze through the level no problem, but towards the final wave, our favourite wizards show up, and the only way I can kill them is by using plant food. I can't use cediums because they can accidentally kill other zombies. I need one other zombie to be alive so I can stall it out until I have 4000 sun. It took a couple of tries, but eventually I had nothing on the field except a tent spawner, so I waited a long ass time, but eventually I won. Day 7 was similar to day 4, except more octo zombies. It wasn't really that fun for the most part, but at the end it got very hectic, so I had to use Teleportato to take everything out. Day 8 is our first Temu Candy Crush level. I can't lie though, I really enjoy stuff like this. For the most part there is no strategy, you just match 100 plants until you win. And with Sun, you can upgrade to get better plants. If you match 4 in a row, you get a plant food effect, and I reckon that's kinda cool. We're in the modern era now. Every mobile game needs a shitty Candy Crush ripoff segment. Day 9, we must survive with the given plants. We are forced into using shadow plants, which is quite awesome if you ask me, but Nightshade is low-key kinda poo, which is why the game gave us Time Warp. Let me tell you about day 10. It felt like every single zombie ever was in one level. There was that much shit going on, it was hell. The biggest nuisances here were the weasel fucking dickweed things and the Discotron. Yeah, remember this guy? If I don't kill him right away, they spawn an unfathomable amount of disco zombies. It was a lot, but hey, you try long enough, eventually you'll win. Also, I just noticed that the Primal Potato Mine can one-shot mechs. Nothing noteworthy on day 11, except for pianist zombies, who again don't really do anything, but I don't know, I pulled a grape shot which pretty much wiped out everything, so that was cool. Day 12 had the potential to be interesting and fun, you know, shovel zombies and dinosaurs to shake things up a bit, but the objective is to not lose plants, so I'm immediately forced into levitator spamming until I win. Day 13 was another matching level, and for whatever reason I could not for the life of me beat this. I don't know what I was doing wrong, but the main cause is that there were a lot of bucket heads. And my guess was that I needed to match plants very quickly in order to get upgrades. Fume Shroom is cheap and I can upgrade that early, and that is actually what enabled me to win. I'm not sure if that's what made the difference, but I'm gonna gaslight myself into thinking that anyway. Day 14 we must survive with more shadow plants. And I mean, it was alright I guess. This time we have to use Shadow Shroom, who is adorable. Probably one of my favorite plants, even if his plant food is kinda arse. We must protect 2 endangered primal walnuts on day 15. And if we're being real, wasn't too bad. I can move them to a safer spot with my escape route. I had to watch out for prospectors though, as they can get to my endangered nuts easily. There were a few other annoyances such as the cannons and the abundance of balloon zombies, but we pulled through in the end. Now we move on to that level in PvZ2, the Gargantua Rush. We get very good plans to deal with them such as Wintermelon, Coconut Cannon and Citrion, but not gonna lie to you, this was surprisingly tricky. That is because we get such good high damaging plants at the start, but as the level progresses we get weaker plants. Like bro, what the fuck am I gonna do with a pea shooter bro? Day 17 was average, yet somewhat difficult. There was just shit everywhere. Arcade machines, gravestones, you name it. Towards the end, I didn't have too much room to place stuff, but we prevailed. The turquoise skull zombies also make a return. I don't know how you can have a zombie to be so distinct yet so forgettable at the same time. Day 18 was incredibly mid. Nothing to note at all. What I will say though is that it's hard to beat these levels without cediums, because the balloon zombie appears in every f***ing level, I swear. So it is hard to talk about how challenging a level really is. Day 19 was another conveyor belt level, but it was fine. The whole purpose was to teach the player how to use escape route, but little do they know that I'm already an expert. Day 20 was painfully boring, no unique zombies to shake things up, and for whatever reason there are useless sun tiles at the front. I don't know who's placing stuff there, I don't have much stuff to work with, okay? We're moving on. Day 21 is also kinda whatever. I at least tried to beat it without cediums, but again, there are too many aerial threats. There were portals spawning rather close, but Levitator can make short work of everything. The All-Star zombies showed up also, and luckily they cannot shoulder barge potato mines. Day 22 is another matching level. I thought it would be more difficult than the other one, but it really wasn't. That's partially because there aren't as nearly as much bucket heads as last time, and we must make 75 matches instead of 150. Like, wouldn't it make sense to swap the two levels, as the one I'm playing now is so much easier than the last one? I don't know man, this game is weird. Day 23 wasn't too different from usual, and I swear Modern Day has a boner for Big Wave Beach because these tentacle motherfuckers are in so much levels, and bro, they be so annoying. It's hard to take them out reliably, especially when they're being guarded by Gargs. Day 24 was short and sweet. We can make use of these power tiles, which makes zero difference whatsoever. But PopCap wanted to at least try to be all cool and different and interesting for once. Oh yeah, Superfan imps. They're cool, not gonna lie. But I don't understand them. Sometimes they'll yeet themselves to the front of the lawn, but most of the time they just do nothing. Yeah, Modern Day's unique zombies are a bit underwhelming. Day 25 is low-key fire. The whole idea is that we use intensive carrot to revive whatever we choose, even though the fat beats being at the back do literally nothing. The corn and the cocoa cannons blast through them like it's nothing. And if they get chewed through, shit, we got our beautiful carrots to revive them again. And let's be real, this is like the only time I've ever used this plant in my entire life. It is absolutely garbage otherwise. Day 26 had a lot of frustrating zombies such as hair metal Gargs, dinosaurs, and discotrons, but it was okay, surprisingly. I had fuck all mowers because of the balloon guys. Maybe it was easy because they caused the mowers to do the job for me. Day 27 is our final matching stage. It was quick and easy, pointless filler, but I enjoy it. I find it strange that an electric blueberry is an upgrade here. Considering that the whole purpose is to match plants, they take like 13 seconds to attack something. It's almost never going to come into play. Remember that one level where I had to spend an eternity stalling out zombies to produce sun? Well, now I gotta do that again. But worse. Pirates and more wizards. The strat passes down from last time, place mines on the sun tiles, play out the level until the very end. Once the final wave arrives, it's hard to have one zombie remaining. Because of the nature of teleportator mines, I'm not sure on which zombies get blown up. I can't stall a wizard because they don't eat plants. Balloon zombies will just fly over them. It took a few attempts, but I ultimately got my strategy working, and all I had to do was sit there for 10 minutes until I got all my sun. No one cares about day 29, just feels like they shoveled everything onto my lawn. So much randomness happening, and a lot of gravestones too. Moving on. Day 30 though, it's ruthless, and you can tell just by looking at it. We have very minimal space to plant mines so the zombies don't trample the flowers. And yeah, it's not easy when there are several Gargantuas and All-Star zombies that just barge themselves onto the flowers, having me lose the level. But meanwhile, I must deal with the external threats like balloon zombies and prospectors. I can just use Levitator for them, so that's fine. There's also the world's most useless minecart here. There isn't really a strategy other than spamming explosives at the front and pray I don't lose. And like I said before, you do the level many times, eventually you'll win. Day 31 is our last standard level, and it's kinda stinky. Very random having directional tiles here, especially when most zombies don't even walk on them anyway. The cannons and ice blocks made this level have a lot of imps present, but they can easily just be stalled. I know I've been complaining about this world a lot. Whether or not you agree is up to you, but I'm sure I'm not alone here when I say that the 3 boss fights at the end are so underwhelming. So let's wrap this up by talking about them. Our first Zomboss fight has us using far future plants in Wild West. Citrion and Laserbeam are amazing, and we even get introduced to an extra tanky zombie. Not bad, but the others are so much worse. The second fight is just downright bad. Using Dark Ages plants only sucks because it's just 2 shrooms attacking. They do have a lot of power tiles which you would think is satisfying, but to be honest it makes it way too easy. Then there's the final fight. I don't know whose idea this was, but oh my god, it is dreadful. Neo plants in Lost City. Why? Genuinely, why? The Spore Shroom is slow as fuck, the Fat Beat does hardly any damage, and Celery Stalker can't even hit the boss. It took like a whole 15 minutes just to do this shit, and there are no mowers, so if you somehow lose, you gotta do all that again. But you probably won't lose since there are boulder tiles. I'm glad we are done with this now. I feel like in modern day, I've had more to say about all these extra levels and almost nothing to say about levels where I can use Potato Mine. Looking back, I can see why apparently no one wanted to do this challenge. It has quite a repetitive strategy like 90% of the time, so it ends up with me summarizing each level rather than talking about the steps to beat the levels, because they're all the same. Which is why I honestly liked Big Wave Beach the most in this challenge, as it has had a lot of obstacles like the water, fisherman and octopus. I actually had to use my brain. Oh yeah, sorry, I said I would stream this finale, but I had technical difficulties and couldn't do it. I think a few people actually tuned in and saw me fuck it up, so that was funny. Although I have had a blast doing this challenge, I probably won't do any more videos on this game. This series has been a great kickstarter to my channel, so I thank you guys a lot, but it's time I branch out. I will be doing more ranking and challenge videos on this channel on other games. So if you wanna stick around, then like, subscribe, comment, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.